back to another episode of Midnight Who Extra. I'm, of course, the Professor, and tonight, it's another Big Finish review, which we have been promising, because this one is about the Fallen Angels audio adventure, featuring the Fifth Doctor, and I'm going to talk about all the other ones in this set. So let's do this. But first, let's take a quick look at the packaging. So the front of the little box has, of course, all the monsters. You got the Sontaran with the 8th Doctor, and I know what you're thinking, the Sontarans? New monsters? Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, I know. It's odd. I know it's odd. But these are more like the Time War Sontarans, so it is actually a very interesting dynamic, and it's actually kind of cool to see them in a little bit different light. Sycorax with the 7th, Dune with the 6th, and of course, the Weeping Angels with the 5th. So let's, of course, take a look at the back of the box set. So, of course, there's all of that little information. You can read that. So, information on the little thing. 4 brand new full cast audio adventures featuring monsters from the brand new series, the new series of Doctor Who. So, let's start it off. So yeah, we're mainly going to focus on the 5th Doctor story. I'm going to talk quickly about all the other ones though. So tonight in this video, we're going to talk about Fallen Angels. So, of course, there's the front cover. This is, of course, the alternate cover. I'll show you what the regular... So this is the non-regular cover, just saying. On the front, you got the 5th Doctor, Michelangelo, and the Weeping Angel, Fallen Angels, the Rider, featuring full cast audio drama. The spine's pretty much just saying it. And, of course, here's the back. You can read it. There you go. So when we open it up... of course, we got the CD. So there we go, we got the CD. Then we got this thing, with the regular cover. Back has the alternate, cast photo, and of course, writer's notes. Big Finish really impressed me in this box set. They really impressed me. When I first heard that Weeping Angels were going to be in this box set, I was like, it just didn't seem like it would work. The Weeping Angels are so much visual monsters. You know, they're not really supposed to be heard, if you know what I mean. So I was a little skeptical about this box set. And I can tell you, Big Finish blew my mind. This story was amazing. The music in it was just spot on. It had a very good atmosphere that lended the Weeping Angels to feel like you actually can see them, and they're jumping at you. And of course you still get the, oh my god, kind of movie. It's moving! The angel is moving type of thing. You still get that. But it doesn't hinder the experience. It doesn't hinder the experience at all. It doesn't hinder it. It's like, I couldn't believe when I'm listening to this audio, how I was like, my goodness, they're actually pulling Weeping Angels off in audio. And I think Big Finish is... I'm blown away. I'm really blown away. I was going in this audio not really expecting much, because I was expecting this to be my least favorite from the whole box set. And Big Finish, I give them an applaud, because it's really good. The Weeping Angels are scary, and that's all I can say. Let's just talk quickly about the story instead of all the Weeping Angels. The story is amazing. It is a very it feels a little bit like a new series adventure. It really does, in a way, feel like a new series adventure. The angels, you get the 2 companions in here. So basically, this, as you can tell, of course, it starts in 2015 with Jewel and Gabby. The interesting thing, though, is they meet the Doctor. They do meet the 5th Doctor in this kind of, they kind of meet in like this, chapel, the Sistine Chapel. So they meet a version of him in the Sistine Chapel. So, of course, he doesn't, so they meet the Doctor, and they go in there, and they get kidnapped by the Weeping Angels. So the Weeping Angels, of course, they meet the strange man. The Weeping Angels send them back in time. Back to, you guessed it, 1511 with Michelangelo and painting the Sistine Chapel. The interesting thing, though, is, well, they get separated. Gabby and Joel, the 2 get separated. Of course, Gabby meets the 5th Doctor, And of course, Jewel meets Michelangelo. He's blown away by it, and of course all that. Of course, they meet back together, and the Doctor kind of works out what's going on, what's the Weeping Angel's purpose there, and it all kind of blends into this perfect story. Now, the caves, I believe there was a cave scene in here, and it was creepy. It was a very creepy, atmospheric, the music, the sound design, it was very creepy, and it lended your ears to this kind of eerie environment. And the sound designers and the writers and the actors, they all performed it. They all did their part to make this story amazing. Now, so overall, Fallen Angels is a spot-on story with very little flaws, which is a really good thing, and you don't see that many often. It's definitely a good story for new series listeners, and I highly recommend this for new series listeners. Because if you were skeptical about Weeping Angels and audio like I was, you'll be blown away by how well they're performed here. Of course, the 5th Doctor is spot on. He does almost finish a line said by the 10th Doctor, which is just so cool to hear. Of course, Gabby and Jewel, they of course learn the hard truth that they're stuck there. And I guess that's one of the curse of the Weeping Angels, is they take you back and you may never return. And it's definitely a sad moment when the Doctor has to break. The first time you meet me is the last time I will ever see you again. So yes, Fallen Angels, a spot-on story, and I highly recommend you get this box set just for this story. But there are 3 other stories, so let's talk about the 3 other stories in this box set. Dune! Okay, so we're going to continue. Let's take a quick look at Dune in Chains. So, Dune in Chains is a very different... here's the back really quick. Let's just focus on that so you can read it. There you go. So, Dune in Chains offers a very unique Dune story. Something that we have never seen with the Dune on television. It's basically a courtroom drama told with the Dune, and you get a very interesting, different type of Dune called Kaibo. It's just a really cool Captain Kaibo. So you get a very unique audio. You get a very unique story with Captain Kaibo, who's, of course, his voice, translator is broken, so he actually learns English. He learns how to speak human. And it's a very unique thing. You actually hear a Dune tell poetry, which is something I never thought I would actually say is very unique, is a Dune reading and writing poetry. It's a very unique thing. The 6th Doctor and the interaction between him and the Dune is very interesting. Now, the story does have 2 kind of like narratives in a way. So there's, of course, how Captain Kaibo got on Earth and how the Doctor is involved in the story and all that. And, of course, you see the Doctor pleading with Kaibo to get him and all that. And you kind of see the 2 back force things. And it's interesting to just see how humans would, react to a rhino in a bodysuit. An armored plaid bodysuit. You would actually see that, how humans would react to that. And of course, sometimes it's not the best. But it's interesting for the Doctor to defend a Dune. It's interesting to just hear that, and you hear the story about it, and it's actually a very good story. I actually was blown away, because when I read the plot synopsis, Fallen Angels and Dune in Chains sound like the kind of the boringer stories. They still sound good, but I didn't think I would enjoy them. But actually, I really enjoyed this one. Overall, the story, it's a very good one. Of course, the 6th Doctor is brilliant in it. To hear the Dune again in a very different story. It's a very different story than any of the Dune stories we ever kind of seen on television. And of course, a Dune in a circus, which I just think is a very unique premise. And I kind of liked it. And of course, come on, the Doctor being a lawyer. I can't complain. So yes, moving on from that is, of course, Harvest of the Sycorax. So, of course, there's the back again. So, of course, now this is a very unique story. I was actually very intrigued by it when I first read the plot, and it was very, very interesting. The Sycorax are back, of course, which is always cool to act. So, it's awesome to have the Sycorax back in action, because of course on television they weren't, we've only seen them once. So, of course, to see them back at it, of course, is just amazing. So, I really did like it, and I'm very happy that they brought it back. So, of course, this story is a very, medical kind of story. You know how, everything is kind of, all the medical conditions that you could possibly have are very much controlled. So, of course, if you're sick, or if you're sad, and all that, everything has a cure now. It's a very interesting thing. Of course, you see the blood control back, so that's how the Sycorax are involved in the story. So, of course, you see the Doctor. Of course, the Seventh Doctor has to interact with them, and his interactions with the Sycorax are amazing. You see a darker side, you see his little darker side of the Seventh Doctor, but also he blends the comedy, how he attacks the, Sycorax. It kind of reminds me how the 10th Doctor in his debut story, he kind of had the cockiness, the darkness, and he blended those two to defeat the Sycorax. It's kind of the same thing with the 7th Doctor in the story, but I think the 7th Doctor does it better almost. I just think James Goss did a good script between this. He wrote the Sycorax very well. He wrote the 7th Doctor brilliantly. And I now want to actually listen to more 7th Doctor stories, because James Goss I don't know, the story made me really appreciate the 7th Doctor in audio a little bit more, because I usually kind of just simply ignore it, and I don't really, I don't listen to many 7th Doctor stories, and I do think I should now. I can tell you though, my favorite part of the story was the opening and how the 7th Doctor first entered the scene. I'm not going to spoil it. It was just one of my favorite scenes, and I was laughing at it. It completely made me laugh. So brilliant job. Lastly in this is we're going to the Time War with the Sontaran Ordeal. Now, the first thing I will mention is this. Sontarans. That says Classic Doctor's New Monsters. Okay, that's the first bit of controversy with this. Is the Sontarans first appeared in the classic series of Doctor Who. So I know a lot of people are saying, how are the Sontarans now? Well, they're classic monsters, how are they new monsters? The way I look at these, this is not the classic Doctor Who version of the Sontarans. These are the new Bred for War, Time War Sontarans, which were first introduced in the Sontaran strategy. So yeah, we see the Time War versions of the Sontarans, and it's a very unique spin of it. And the Sontarans in the story, they're bred for war, but they're not getting it. They're ready to fight. I don't know if I showed you the back. There's the back. There you go. Now, of course, these Sontarans, they want to join the fight. These Sontarans, they're ready to join the fight. They're ready to get the war started. They're ready to, of course, fight in the war, because that's what they're entitled to. So, yeah, they're ready to fight. So, but of course, as we all know, the Sontarans, they never got their chance, but they want to. So, of course, this 8th Doctor is a very different, very unique 8th Doctor than we've ever seen in audio before, because he's a very broken Doctor. This is basically, when you hear it, this is the 8th Doctor at his worst. He's probably been fighting this war for a very long time, and he's seen the results. And he's very tired of what's happening. And of course, when he sees this world get destroyed by all the Sontarans, it's just sad. He's just sad. He's broken. He doesn't want the war. He doesn't want the, hostility, the war, the bloodshed to continue. And it's just, you can tell he just wants this war to be over with. Which makes sense how you saw it in, that. So, of course, you also meet Commander Jask. Commander Jask is in this. After dealing with this Sontaran thing, it's just he battles it, and he doesn't want any more damage to happen. The interesting thing, the more way I look at this, though, is you get Dan Starkey back as it, but you also get different Sontarans. You get to see how they interact, and you get to see how they fight and how they prepare. And you also get to see a very important moment between the 8th Doctor and her. And I believe Sarana, I believe is who it is. But Sarana, at the very end, the Doctor basically gets told, at the end of the story, he basically gets said to go home, leave this planet, and never return. Because they see him as a Time Lord. He's a Time Lord who's just trying to help, and he's starting to see that no one wants his help. It's kind of sad in a way. And it actually makes you sympathise with why the Doctor eventually chose to take the serum and become the War Doctor. Because he was not prepared to fight this war. Because this war wasn't his own. Now, of course, this story is a very good lead-in to next year, where they release the 8th Doctor, the Time War. And actually, after this story, it makes me really excited for it. And also, we got actually, as you can tell, it's actually the Night of the Doctor. He's a lot, and it actually gets me very hyped to see how standalone. It's a standalone Time World, and these are Time World Sontarans, not classic. Woo! There we go. Okay, that was not as briefly as I was expecting for each of those. I got kind of passionate for the end, didn't I? Yay, passionate. Okay, so let's wrap this thing up. Shall we? Let's wrap this up. So, of course, there's the box. There's the top. I love that art. And, of course, company information. So, let's end this video by ranking them. Okay? Because I do want to rank them. So, let's pick, what is my number 4 spot? This one is tough. But I have to give it to, for number 4, Harvest of the Sycorax. Now, me giving this number 4 spot doesn't mean anything. This story just got beaten out by the other 3 of them. This story is brilliant. It is a very brilliant story. The Sycorax are back, and the interaction between them, the 7th Doctor, is spot on and brilliant, and it just got narrowly beaten out by all the other brilliant audios in this box set, but still a superb audio and a very good listen. Number 3 is the Sontaran Ordeal. This story is also good. It's like Harvest of Sycorax. It's a very good listen. It's very awesome to hear this 8th Doctor. You start seeing his, disillusionment with this war and how he's starting to feel that this war isn't for him. And the Sontarans are amazing in it. And number 2, in the second spot, it is Dune in Chains. This story is phenomenal. Colin Baker gives a standout performance. It's awesome to hear the Dune in a different light. They're a different kind of... It's the same Dune. It's all the same Dune. But you get to see how the one Dune can become a little bit more human. And you also get to see the Doctor defend a Dune, which is awesome. And the Dune, you hear some different sides of the Dune. A Dune reading poetry is just phenomenal. So, brilliant story, brilliantly written. I really just love the story, but it does get beaten out, just barely, by Fallen Angels. I actually never expected this to be my number 1 choice. But this is amazing. This story, it's atmospheric, it's creepy, it's all the things I want from a Weeping Angels story, but it's an audio. And I'm blown away by how amazing this was. So yes, it's a great story. I love it. It's one of my favourite 5th Doctor stories now, and it's definitely a standout in this box set. So yes, that is all 4 stories in this box set ranked. All this, overall, I give this box set an 8.5 out of 10. It's a really great box set, and the best thing about this box set is that it will get new fans interested in Big Finish. And that is the best thing. Because Big Finish is kind of this, I don't think it's as popular or as known by a lot of people, but I think this year Big Finish is getting a lot more widely known because they're, of course, doing new series stuff with, of course, the 10th Doctor box set, which we haven't reviewed yet. It's just amazing how they're finally getting the new series in Big Finish, and I think that can get a lot more people introduced to Big Finish and what they can do. You hear the word audio and think, oh my goodness, it's like a person reading a script. No. Big Finish is basically a Doctor Who story, and they're giving us more content right now in this Doctor Who hiatus, and it's a good way to survive the Doctor Who hiatus. And this might be the winner for my almost might be the winner of my favorite box set for 2016. Well, that'll do it for me tonight. I'm, of course, the Professor, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.